Good morning, and I hope you are all having a fabulous Monday morning so far. We have started live at the Waterhole today over in Surrendella in the thorny bush of South Africa, and looks like we have a snoozing little elephant in the shade of the tree just off to the right there. Isn't that cute? My name is Carrie Dupree and I'll be your guide this afternoon on Live at the Waterhole. It's really nice. Looks like a chilled afternoon here in Surrendella. I hope everyone else is having a very chilled Monday. Just a reminder, folks, that this is a live and interactive experience, so please feel free to send through those questions and comments. Don't forget to register on the website. You can also use the QR code on the screen, or there's also an option to use the WhatsApp line to send me your questions and comments. I've started off the show today with a cup of tea, which is making me rather warm here in a very sunny Johannesburg city at the moment. I'd love to know what our viewers have started off the show. Any snacks, any preferences? I had some peanuts earlier as well, mixed peanuts and a cup of tea, which is a perfect little snack to start off live at the Waterhole. Got some comments coming through from Venus. Venus says, looking forward to some scenic views. Yes, Venus, I'm also looking forward to some scenic views. I've been catching up on the live drives from this weekend's safaris. So really cool to see what they've been up to. Great day on Monday to catch up on all of those safaris that we've been missing out on. And great time to see what's happening here live at the Waterhole. Fuzzy Dunlop, happy Monday, Fuzzy Dunlop. I hope you're having a lovely Monday. I've had quite a busy Monday so far already, so it's nice to quieten down your Monday a little bit with some of these lovely scenes here at Live at the Waterhole. So it's a little bit early. I know normally around 12 o'clock this Waterhole has been, 12 to 1 o'clock this Waterhole has been getting quite busy. Lots of elephants. Oh, looks like we've got some more elephants arriving. Right next to the camera. Just having a bit of a quiet moment to listen to the sound of this elephant as he slurped up some water. It's amazing how silently elephants do walk. I mean, we're quite close to where that elephant was, so we could hear the sounds of his feet moving over the sand, but they're very silent when they move. To be careful they don't sneak up on you if you're also having a midday nap in the bush somewhere. Oh, and there is a little sneaky warthog just on the far left-hand side of the pan. He was lying down in the water, cooling off after a very hot summer's day in the bush. I didn't even see him there. What a sneaky little guy. Could be a solitary male warthog on his own. Ella from KZN says, good morning. I hope it's going to be a great day. Yes, Ella from KZN, it is going to be a great day here live at the Waterhole. Just being here and being able to watch all of this incredible wildlife from the comfort of our homes is such a privilege. It's amazing how far technology has come. Imagine in the 60s and 70s, you'd never think of being able to watch all of these different wildlife locations from the comfort of your home. We'd actually have to drive to these locations and sit here for hours in order to watch the incredible things we see live at the Waterhole. What this warthog's going to get up to. I'm very curious about this little baby elephant that's lying down. So he's really must be having a very deep snooze. I guess he had a busy weekend, still trying to sleep off some of his events and activities that he was busy with on the weekend. This little baby elephant having a very good nap in the shade. Sibongile, good morning and happy Monday, Sibongile. I hope that you had a lovely weekend, and thank you for joining us today on the show. Philemon is also sending us greetings. Good morning. Vibe in the wild. Yes, this is a great vibe in the wild. I mean, we've got lots going on here. We've got our little hippo friend, and we have a nyala. My goodness, we've got our hippo just lazing in the water. We've got a very big male warthog a big male nyala that's just joined us, and a small family breeding herd of elephants with a little youngster snoozing, having a mid-morning nap. I think I would be very unproductive if I mid-morning napped. I don't think I would be very productive after a mid-morning nap. But that does happen quite often with these elephants, especially in the summer months like this when it is very hot. It's one of my most favorite things to do. It's when you go on horse safari into these very deep, thick forests, especially under the huge, big acacia trees like those erolobas or the camel thorns. And you find the elephants have these little nap patches where they'll sleep in the shade of these acacia trees during the heat of the day. It's just too hot out there at the moment. Some of our locations in southern Africa, we're reaching about 35 to 38 degrees the last week. So for a little elephant, it's quite hot. It's always good to take a nap. Mr. Elemental, thank you for joining us. Mr. Elemental is a member of 6 months, and Elemental says, good afternoon, Kerry and Wild Earthers from a very wintry Albany in Western Australia. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Elemental. I hope that you don't get blown away in your very winter Australian weather. We had some very unusual windy weather here in Gauteng province over the weekend. Lots of palm trees were blown all over the place, all those palm fronds falling all over. It's very unusual and windy, which is probably good. It was Saturday. Blew in some nice cooler weather for a nice cool sunny Sunday in Gauteng, South Africa. So we've got a question here from, not too sure who this is from, but we have a question about, do you guys have some tigers in your game reserves? There are tigers in preserves in South Africa, but these are more like tigers that are inside. Oh, there we go, from Eric. Thank you, Eric. So these will be animals that are in protected areas and are very much, I wouldn't say they're wild. So no, we don't have tigers in the wild in Africa or in South Africa. They're not originally supposed to be here in Africa, originally from India. So these tigers that have been reintroduced into Africa or into South Africa are kept in sanctuaries or private, maybe zoos, which is not really something I frequent. So I've never seen a tiger before. I'd rather go to India, see a tiger in the wild, maybe on a wild earth safari, go and see those tigers. There's actually a lot of bird life in India too, so much to offer over in India. That one-horned rhino, so lots of wildlife in India. But no, I have not seen a tiger in South Africa. I don't think the environment and the climate is ideal for them. It's quite hot, and I know the places that tigers do occur, they often have to be fed. So ideally not the most adaptable creature to Africa. We have another question coming through from CER50, some of the best cam locations in the world. Yes, Mr. CER50, some incredible locations that we can watch. So very grateful for the show, and that we can just very easily click between all these incredible locations. So sometimes if you're sitting at one location or one hide, one viewing platform, you can wait for hours before the next animal arrives. Whereas we're very lucky, we've got our zoomies and our directors and our tech team here at Wild Earth and with African, that we can link between all these different incredible locations.
For years we've shared virtual wildlife. Now let's experience it for real. I'm Lauren Arthur, and I'd love to show you my amazing home here in the Greater Kruger of South Africa. This 5-night journey is an exclusive connection to my piece of untamed Africa. I live here in these gorgeous landscapes surrounded by epic wildlife. The wild is calling, so come and join me.
What does it take to handle the wild? Balance. Determination. Focus.
Yaku!
and gear that can take a beating so you don't have to.
Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Wild Earth Travel's newsletter is your passport to a magical journey. Explore exclusive travel options featuring special offers at stunning Wild Earth locations and all hosted by your favorite presenters. Don't miss out. Head over to our website and subscribe to the Wild Earth Travel newsletter today and stay in the know on all our unforgettable adventures. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Secretary birds to come for a swim. So another comment from Doxy Appointed. They're saying, good, so good to join in from Strand in Cape Town, experiencing some windy weather. So yes, Doxy Appointed. We had some crazy windy weather here in Johannesburg on Saturday. Seemed to cool down a bit on Sunday, so I hope that you don't get blown away in Cape Town as well. I know the Cape Town windy weather can be unbearable. Kind of really put me off Cape Town a little bit. It's a great place to travel to, but not during August, September when you have those winds. Oh, check out these guys. So awesome to see these secretary birds, folks. It has been such a long time since I've last seen them. Another question from Philemon, and Philemon is asking, what is the age of the oldest elephant in your park? So Philemon, a lot of our locations here are based across many different countries. So we're currently here in Oldonyo in Kenya. We've got a few locations, Africam has a few locations in Namibia, South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Botswana. So there's 5, 6 different countries that we have multiple cameras across these different parks and private reserves. So there's lots of different elephants, but on average, the average lifespan of an elephant bull is generally anything between 60 to 70 years old. I know there's some elephants in captivity, or some older elephants that have been well monitored that have managed to live up to 75. But yeah, elephants, unlike most other animals that can survive longer in captivity, elephants don't necessarily survive longer in captivity. So, ooh, is that a warthog? What does that sound? Unusual. Got our secretary birds. Just an epic sighting of these secretary birds. So Marula Shortcake, I love this handle. This is a lovely handle. Says, this is your favorite bird. Yes, Marula Shortcake, these secretary birds are very special birds. It's not often that we see them. Out of our Africam locations, the only locations I've ever actually seen secretary birds beside Oldonyo would probably be over in Wangi at the Hyde Safari Lodge, or in Wangi Safari Lodge. There's probably about 3 or 4 of our locations, as well as over in Founders Lodge in Eastern Cape. So there's about 4 or 5 locations that we can see secretary birds, but we have not been seeing them very much recently. Oh, looks like we've got some more visitors to the waterhole. Looks like we've got an oryx. So coming to get some attention as well. I was wondering, why are you looking at those birds? Look at me too. I'm also beautiful. Yes, Mr. Oryx, you are. Oh, looks like a male, 2 male oryx could be fighting here. So we have a question, interesting question from Inuka. has asked, how much does an elephant ear weigh? So Nuka, generally an elephant ear can weigh, depending on the size of elephants, but if you're looking at a young bull or a big cow, anything between 20 to 25 kilograms, which is around about 44 to 50 pounds. So the ears aren't just big for show, they're packed with all these incredible little blood vessels that, as I mentioned earlier, help to regulate the elephant's body temperature. So Asian elephants' ears are obviously much smaller than African elephants, so the ears can weigh quite a lot less. Oh, it is a busy day here at Aldonio. Isn't that incredible? So last week we just had an elephantastic day, most days on Live at the Waterhole. Just elephants were everywhere. Didn't really give much chance for other animals to come in, so lovely to see that the other animals in the food chain, the smaller creatures, also get a chance to come down for a drink. So Philemon is also asking, how many liters? Alrighty folks, let's head across to Nkoro for some buffalo that have arrived at the waterhole. We have some buffalo bulls. Oh, these guys, your worst nightmare, to walk into a bachelor group of buffalo bulls on foot in the bush. They are rather dangerous. They can be nasty, quite nasty. Shame, I don't blame them. They don't have any families, they've been kicked out, they're kind of outsiders, very secluded on their own, so you kind of don't blame these buffalo bulls for having such a bad attitude. We have a question from Philemon. Philemon's asking, how many liters of water do elephants drink? So Philemon, on average, an elephant, like a big elephant bull, can drink about 150 to just under 200 liters of water in one go. Oh, talking about elephants, here we have some elephants, breeding herd that has joined us. So that's for a big bull, but like these smaller calves and cows need to drink at least 90 to 150 liters of water a day. So they don't always drink that much. With elephant bulls, in cooler weather or when food has very high moisture content in the rainy season, elephants don't necessarily drink as much as they would now in the dry season. So Julian Thomas, yes, everyone has picked a good time to join today. You have picked the best time to join, Julian Thomas. Thank you for joining us. It's a lovely day to be here live at the Waterhole. We've had some incredible sightings already. Nice to see some secretary birds. The baby sleeping elephant over at Sorondela. We've had 2 warthogs mud bathing today, so it must be quite a hot day over in the Sabi Sands. All the buffalo have decided this is their cool spot. They can hang out for the day. Oh, we've got some wildebeest also joining us. So Sibongile is asking, do elephants actually have teeth? So yes, Sibongile, elephants do have teeth. Their teeth are vital in their survival. Most elephants have 6 sets of teeth that work in a bit of a conveyor belting system. They have these giant sets of molars that kind of, once one set has worn out, they shift forward and drop out of their mouth as the next set has already started erupting and coming out of their mouth. So in some rare cases, elephants will have 7. Whoop! A bit of politics going on here. This young elephant is a bit cheeky this morning. Someone woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
Some ellies that we're approaching now.
The light on her as well is absolutely gorgeous.
So we are going to enjoy the rest of this sunset.
Wow, this is absolutely crazy.
And thank you for joining us. For myself and Cam, we will see you next time.
You kind of can't resist. Imagine if you're out there. I've been on horse safaris and walking safaris, and you're out in the bush, and even if you have water in your backpack, you're just drawn to these little oases where there's any sort of water, these river lines, anywhere that's cooler, that can provide some relief from these extremely hot days. Just desperate to get some coolness. Oh, got a zebra as well. Wonder if there's a predator around. Got a crested Franklin calling someone close to the camera. Looks like a stallion. Wonder where the rest of your family is. And this is a perfect place for predators to also lie in wait. They could have an opportunity at a kill. They'll lie behind these little thickets when some very overgrown vegetation and take an opportunity to catch an unsuspecting prey that's coming from the waterholes. That's why these herbivores do need to be very cautious, very alert when coming down to drink, especially like with this male zebra. Seems to be by himself, which is quite unusual. Oh, he's got a nasty gash on his backside there. Have a look on this male zebra's left hind quarter. He's got quite a nasty scratch, and that looks like it is from a kitty cat, a giant kitty cat. The lions do often leave nasty scars like this on zebra. I've seen zebras healing from the most awful injuries you can imagine. Sometimes they heal and you can actually see their stripes are mismatched on their rumps. But yeah, they're such resilient creatures and they are able to heal and recover very quickly. Thank goodness they do have nice tails that they can swish away all the flies, whereas some zebra, when they have nasty injuries and they don't have tails, shame, it can be quite uncomfortable for them. Oh, those oxpeckers are really bothering the zebra. So see, these oxpeckers, this is when the oxpeckers really can be a nuisance to these plains game. It's because they'll go and they'll spend time picking away at this nasty wound that the zebra has. which is good because it can keep it open and clean, but also it can be bad because then they don't stop. They persistently pick away at this wound, which doesn't allow it to heal. Oh, look at that, folks. That's probably why this zebra is alone. He could have been separated from the rest of his herd while he was in the process of becoming lion's lunch. Managed to escape, so I think he will be perfectly fine. As I mentioned, I've seen some zebras with huge gashes across their whole hind quarter, flaps of skin hanging down, and months later it's like nothing even happened. So they're very tough and resilient, these animals out in the bush. So Al-Wande is asking, how are zebra stallions able to see if a newborn is not theirs? So Al-Wande, zebra, there'll be one male or one stallion that will have, he'll be accompanied by a few females, anything between 2 to about normally 4 or 5 females. And normally if he is trying to steal a female from another area that he has not been in, so if he knows that he has not frequented this area and the female that he's stealing is from an area that he's not been in, he knows that that's out of his gene pool. And that's when fights between these zebra can be quite nasty. The males, I've seen some male zebras killing females before, killing their foals. So the female will try to protect her foal at all costs, and in some cases her foal ends up getting killed by the stallions, and in other cases I've actually seen the female getting killed in the process between 2 fighting zebra males. So this guy looks like he has already had a hard life. If you see his left ear, he's got very bad luck on his left hand side, the zebra. So on his left ear he's also got a notch out of the tip of his ear. I think he was possibly also in a fight with another stallion. The stallions can bite off each other's tails, leave nasty gashes and wounds, and often they end up losing pieces of their ears as well. Zebra have such a nasty bite. So Dark Mane Lover is asking a very good question. Dark Mane Lover says, Kerry, how do you feel about having wild animals such as African elephants confined in small spaces in zoos and also sanctuaries? What is your outlook on both? Dark Mane Lover, we had a question earlier about tigers in Africa as well, which is kind of the very similar, down the same lines as having elephants in confined spaces. I don't really support zoos and sanctuaries. That's not something that I believe in. I believe all wild animals should be in the wild places that they originally found in. There's a reason that we don't have specific species in Africa. There's a reason that elephants are in Africa. So I don't necessarily believe in shipping animals across the world and having them in zoos. If you want to come and see African animals, the best way to do so is come to Africa and see these animals in the wild, where they're natural, where they're happy, where they naturally occur. It's quite sad for me to see animals in confinement. Alrighty, well, let's head across to Tau and see what is happening at Tau over in South Africa. Oh, have a looky here. So Tau has been quite a busy location lately. Lots of waterbuck have been submerging themselves into this pan, feeding on this very lush green marshy vegetation. It's perfect for them. They cool themselves down as well as feeding at the same time. It's a dry season. There's not much green nutritious food out there, so for these waterbuck, this is the best all-you-can-eat buffet a waterbuck could ask for on a sunny day like today. So Exenbia has asked, hope you going to find me some crocs today. So Exenbia, we are going to keep an eye out for those crocodiles. This is the perfect location to look for some crocodiles, so keep your eye out on the banks and on these very marshy little islands in the pan. This is a perfect place for crocodiles, and we've had lots of crocodile activity here at Tau for the last couple of weeks. We've had crocodiles mating at this pan, which is quite unusual for me to see crocodiles mating for such a long period of time. But it's been very entertaining and eventful. We learn so much every day about all of these incredible wild creatures in their natural wild places. Oh, these waterbuck, they are having the best time. So what makes it perfect for these waterbuck to be in this marshy vegetation without being harmed in any way is, one, the water level is very low at this moment. So yes, there are, I think, 3 or 4 crocodiles we normally see at this pan, and they are around, so they could possibly take one of these waterbuck. But as you can see, the water is very shallow, so the crocodiles are at quite a disadvantage at the moment. They're not able to suffocate their prey if the water is so shallow like this. So I think the waterbuck know that they are safe. But waterbuck also have a very interesting oily substance that secretes from their skin, and that helps to moisturize their skin and also protect have a bit of a protective waterproof layer over their fur. And that's how you see waterbuck are able to occur in habitats that are very wet, marshy, and have their skin and fur protected. So it's almost like very similar with ducks, and how ducks have their little oil preening gland where they oil their feathers to protect their feathers from being damaged. Oh, lots of birds today at Tau. Looks like we've got 2 African spoonbills snoozing away on one of the bags there. Yes, they're also having a bit of a rough Monday. Oh, there's our crocodiles, folks. Looks like we've got 1 crocodile on the bottom right hand side of the screen here. Beer, I hope you're happy. We found you your crocodile. So Darkman Lover, thank you for responding to my comment. Darkman Lover says, thank you Kerry and FC for answering my question. You do agree with me. Great outlook. Yeah, Darkman Lover, once you start, everything in nature's evolved to survive in the specific environment that they currently live in. So when you take something out of its natural environment, 2 crocodiles, and you put it into an environment that they wouldn't normally survive in, that does cause a lot of stress and pressure on these individuals. So I believe everything should be wild and free. Look at these crocodiles. I wonder, we've got two of our 3 or 4 crocodiles that we normally see at this pan, and I'm wondering when they're going to move, because currently hunting at this pan for these crocodiles is slightly compromised. So unless they're feeding on fish, I know crocodiles, when they struggle to get large mammals or feed on larger prey, they will sometimes hunt fish as well as water birds. So Lady Macbeth is also commenting on our question on animals in captivity, and Lady Macbeth's comment is, however, there are species extinct in the wild which have been brought back by captive breeding, so it's not so simple. Yes, Lady Macbeth, with that regards to species that are then critical or near endangered, that's completely different. I know the condors, for example, in Canada were almost completely extinct in the wild, and it was a population in captivity that they then bred and reintroduced into the wild, and that actually helped to save the condors in Canada. So that's, again, tomatoes, potatoes. It's a bit of a difficult one, but if the animal has been injured and it's not going to survive in the wild and needs rehabbing, then yes, rehab and release the animal as soon as it's recovered. Or if it is a protected species that then needs to be taken into captivity to save the population, then that's completely different. And I definitely agree with you there, Lady Macbeth. But when you have species that are overpopulated, and then you kind of send them to zoos, but I know a lot of zoos have become a lot better with their animal care and animal handling, or even a lot of zoos have closed down and reintroduced the animals that were in the zoos back into the wild, which is always great news. Oh, got our little grey heron is here. Looks like he's also fishing. So this will be a bit of a competition for food. So as I mentioned, I'm concerned that these crocodiles are not able to hunt larger prey in this very dwindling pan. So now they will be competing with the herons for fish. Sounds like we've got a colony of weavers calling. Oh, weavers are such happy little birds. Males are all busy building those nests as they patiently wait for the females to come and inspect their new little homes. Mr. Elemental, yes, the crocodiles here at Tau are having a very well-earned rest. So these crocodiles, if a big crocodile like this, if he makes a kill, say he kills a young impala or a little waterbuck, that can last him for quite a few weeks because crocodiles do have very slow digestive systems. Oh, look at this lovely little scene of white-faced whistling ducks. I don't know if they're bickering or could be some youngsters. The white-faced whistling ducks, you get incredible pictures of these ducks with silhouettes on the water. They're often in colonies, so larger colonies. You can find them in big colonies, up to 50 or 60. They have very interesting call that they make. Always reminds me of Zimbabwe, Zambia, the Zambezi River. Got the call here of the white-faced whistling duck, which I will play for you. It's probably one of my favorite bird waterfowl or duck calls. Go, the call of the white-faced whistling duck. Looks like we have another very brave waterbuck. So yeah, they're like, ooh, a pied kingfisher just made a kill. And we've got some teals here. Looks like they're also having a mid-morning nap. So have a look, this waterbuck male, he's putting his face all in the water to feed on that nice green juicy vegetation underwater there. There's a blacksmith lapwing also right in the middle of this waterbuck's horns. It's quite impressive male. It does look like it is quite a windy day over in Tau, so I guess parts of South Africa are still experiencing quite windy days. I must say, I thought we were going to be blown away on Saturday here in Johannesburg. It was rather windy. So waterbuck, their social structures, generally, as we can see here, there's one male, but I suspect this is a solitary male. So you'll get bachelor bulls, and then you'll also have the smaller family breeding units, which is not as big as like herds of impala. So it'll be one big bull with anything between about 6 to 12, maybe 15 females, whereas impala, one male impala, can be in charge of up to 50 to 60 females. So waterbuck, much smaller family groups, just like with kudu. Often find them down in these low-lying drainage areas around waterholes, dams, swampy, marshy areas. Oh, and it looks like we've got some namakwa doves that have also just landed on the right-hand side of the bank, just away from the water next to the elephant wallowing puddle. So Josh Dran is asking a question: where do crocodiles lay their eggs, clutching or I guess you're trying to say, where do crocodile lay their egg clutches? So crocodiles in this area, we are debating where is a perfect place for these crocodiles to lay their eggs, because for me it's not exactly ideal. Crocodiles love sandbanks, so nice soft sandbanks is a perfect place for crocodiles to lay their eggs, although there's not much soft sand here, so quite curious as to where these crocodiles would lay their eggs. But I'm sure they will find some way. So they'll often dig a hole, the females, and then she will lay anything between about 20 to 30 eggs. She will lay in a nest, which she will very viciously guard for the next 90 days. Once the eggs hatch, she will actually assist the youngsters by picking them up in her mouth and taking them down to the water. So normally it is in quite close proximity to the water so that she can protect them. So just having a look here, folks, we have a yellow-billed duck down here with these teals blending in very well. Isn't that cool? So this yellow-billed duck does have a very typical duck call. I'll play the call of this yellow-billed duck for you.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
Out here, every wild moment counts, and as a Wild Earth explorer, you won't miss a thing.
Incredible.
Watch the Wild Earth channel ad-free 24/7 and rewind if you want to catch something again. Enjoy behind-the-scenes videos, fireside chats, and early access to travel offers. The best way to stay connected and be part of the Wild Earth family.
A lovely little breeding herd. So talking about crocodiles, we have a question from Exabia is asking, do crocodiles have social groups? So crocodiles aren't exactly social butterflies like myself. I'm quite a social butterfly, unlike crocodiles, but they're not total loners, so they don't form structured groups like elephants or lions, yet they do tolerate each other's presence, especially where food or basking spots are plentiful. So they might feed together at carcasses, but when it comes to competition, they'll often fight with one another. But they'll kind of like giraffe. So giraffe will also have the same, I'd say, tolerance of one another. So crocodiles will tolerate other individuals being in their same area, but in certain situations they can be a bit snappy when it comes to fighting over food. Like if a waterbuck or a kudu was stuck in a pan, crocodiles would definitely fight over every piece of meat they could get. So Mr. Elemental, I'm glad that we managed to add a bird lifer to your list. Yes, as I mentioned, that's my first time seeing a yellow-billed duck at Tau. We often see the teals, white-faced whistling ducks, Egyptian geese, but a yellow-billed duck is a really cool bird lifer to add to your list. They do domesticate quite well, those yellow-billed ducks. Like I have seen them in parks in the city. You'll find them in little pans, or should I say little ponds, or little marshy areas in the city. There's a little park close to my house, and there's often one or two little yellow-billed ducks that we see around there with the red-knobbed coots and black crakes. So as long as there's an aquatic environment that's protected, it's amazing what birds will then come. You can see these kudu are browsers, very tall, slender antelopes. They are browsing on the leaves of these vegetations. So they will feed on dry leaves in these dry months. They'll also feed on flowers and fruit. I know these kudu love to feed on marula fruit. I remember last year in Djuma, my first stint in Djuma, early January, watching a kudu on a termite mound regurgitating a marula fruit. She was really enjoying munching away on those marulas. Perfect source of sugar and moisture, nice little protein snack for a kudu. See those big ears of theirs, all the better to hear you with. A very, very good sense of hearing, these kudu, as well as a good sense of eyesight to make sure they're always alert, looking out for these predators. I think there's a helicopter somewhere close by, maybe doing some game capture surveys or wildlife work. Alrighty, seems like the elephants have pulled into Old Donyo, so let's go and see those elephants over in Kenya. We started off our show today with some secretary birds here at Old Donyo before these elephant bulls arrived. Now the elephant bulls are here, and there's no chance any of these smaller creatures will get into this waterhole now. Got some very big male elands in the background there. Also desperately waiting for a chance to come down for a drink. Well, I'm glad we had our few moments with those secretary birds, because as I mentioned, so birding at a waterhole is kind of crucial on the fact that there's no elephants around. As soon as you have too many elephants, you're not going to have too many interesting birds coming down. They just cause so much disturbance, and they really do take up the whole waterhole, as you can see. Such large creatures. Some of these big elephant bulls are weighing between 5 to 7 tons, so massive bodied animals, and they really do take up a lot of space. So it's not much space for any other creatures to come down, but luckily we had that awesome sighting of those secretary birds earlier, which I'm really glad to see. We haven't seen them for a while. Did have one ton, the big male elephant tusker that came down to the waterhole last week. It was really awesome to see him again. He didn't hang around for very long, but he graced us with his presence briefly last week, so I wonder when he's going to pop in again. It's always very special to witness these incredible elephant tuskers, and the older and more well-known these big elephant bulls are, the more every sighting is kind of monitored, because we just hope that they are still alive somewhere out there. Oh, very brave eland. Look at this impressive eland bull. He is massive. Yeah, I thought as much. I thought this eland is being quite confident. I don't know if he is going to be able to stay at this waterhole with these giant elephants. Off he goes. These male eland are incredibly large. They are one of the heaviest antelope in Africa. Big males like that can weigh up to 900 kilograms. The females are weighing around 600 kilograms. But even with that incredible weight of theirs, eland, same as kudu, have this incredible ability to jump even a 2-meter fence from mostly a standstill. So this is an anti-predatory adaptation that they have in order to protect themselves from predators. Bit of a meeting greeting ceremony going on between these bulls. Very interesting how elephants like to sniff each other in the mouths as a way of greeting one another. Quite unusual behavior.
Oh, wow. Best sighting I've presented. I found myself with wild dogs. We chased the dogs around, chased them around. They ate an impala. We got the end of that. Then another impala went into Gowrie Dam down the road there, and the wild dogs went around. Eventually the impala came close to the bank. One wild dog went and grabbed it and then just pulled it out and just did what wild dogs do. It was an emotional experience, but it was very, very special.
Hyenas love bathing.
Pads that they have in their inner feet that helps them to communicate with one another. So when we hear elephants vocalize, it's only a very small portion of their communication that we can actually hear that is audible to the human ear. We do have some more visitors to the waterhole that have to patiently wait their turn for a drink. Some zebra. We've got, it looks like a whole breeding herd of eland, and some more oryx have pitched up as well. Fortunately, these elephants are being quite selfish with the waterhole, taking up a lot of space. See, this elephant bull on the right is missing a tusk on the left hand side, so it does often happen with elephants while fighting with one another or while feeding vegetation. They can often damage, injure or lose their tusks. In some cases, most cases, they do continue growing back, but if they damage that, see, like this bull on the right here, I'm sure his tusk will continue to grow back. But some bulls, if they damage too much of that kind of inner chamber where the tusk is lodged in their jaw, then it's not always possible for the tusk to grow back. So the zebra are desperately trying to get into this water hole. So I'm wondering why these zebra here in Aldonio have, in some cases they have no manes, and in other cases they have very little manes. So if any of our viewers are familiar on the zebra in Aldonio, I'd love to know why they are lacking of manes. I do know insects are a big problem, lots of parasites, lots of insects in Kenya, and sometimes that can cause an irritation, where in the zebra species they can rub their necks quite a lot. And even just end up removing their hair. It's very similar as in horses. They can get a parasite or they can get a mange, which does remove their fur. But I'm just wondering, it's very, very unusual. Have a look, these two big stallions here have no mane at all. Yes, dark mane lover, we are praying that one ton the elephant will come for a visit. Look at these elephant bulls. Really enjoying their Monday at the waterhole. So Lucy is asking a question about waterbucks. We had waterbuck earlier at Tau. Lucy is asking, can waterbuck stay away from watering holes? So Lucy, yes, waterbuck can move a bit of a distance from watering holes, but generally they're a water-dependent species. So you'll always find them close to water or marshy areas, as I mentioned earlier. So generally they'll always like to be in these marshy areas, otherwise they feel a little bit out of their comfort zone or out of their habitat, and they might struggle to find the right food to feed on. Alrighty folks, let's head over to Simbavati for a giraffe that has arrived at the waterhole. Alrighty, so it looks like we have a female giraffe here that is blending in so well to the trees. It's very light in color, and I love this time of year to watch and see what the giraffe feed on, because giraffe, firstly, during the months where they don't have much option for food, they'll mostly feed on those acacia leaves. And acacia leaves, I know they do love combretums, but now with all these flowering trees, it's like spring has all of a sudden arrived. It just makes me so happy to see and smell all these flowers everywhere, and the giraffe are even happier. The giraffe do love feeding on those tiny little buds of leaves, as well as quite an array of flowers, including the knobthorn tree and one of my new favorite trees, the Dumbea rotundifolia, or the African wild pear. They love to eat those little blossoms. So Dylan says he's always loved giraffe tongues. Yes, Dylan, giraffe tongues are quite comical, very long and blue. Some can measure up to 25 to 20 to 30 centimeters. So a giraffe tongue is almost as long as a 30 centimeter ruler. Very long, fibrous, kind of tough and blue, in order for them to be able to feed on nasty, thorny acacia branches. I mean, imagine a giraffe wraps its tongue around these acacia branches and strips off the leaves. I mean, if I try and grab an acacia branch with my hand, I'll probably need to go to the hospital. But these giraffe have such a well-adapted tongue to feed on those nasty acacia trees by removing the little leaves. So Des is asking, do giraffe ever bend over for food? And yes, Des, so giraffe, sometimes if you ever see a giraffe standing very unusually just chewing on something, have a closer look with your binoculars, because giraffe practice what's called osteophagia, and that is the behavior of chewing on bones. So because giraffe, I mean, they have the same amount of vertebrae as we do, but their bones are much bigger. Everything of a giraffe, they need a lot of calcium, so they'll often feed on bones. So they'll bend down to the ground, pick up bones from an old carcass or an old kill site, and they will munch away and chew at these bones, sometimes trying to get some tiny little pieces of calcium in order to substitute their diet. So very interesting behavior there. Males not so much, but I've seen a lot in females, which would make sense because due to the fact that females will need more calcium, more nutrients for their unborn little calf. That's why they probably have a much higher calcium requirement than that of males. So Mr. Elemental, yes, I was asking a question earlier about the zebra in Oldonyo. I see that there are the plains zebra, the Grevy's zebra, more southern, more northern species, so it's not more northern in Laikipia, not so much in Oldonyo. So as far as I'm concerned, the zebra that we see at the Oldonyo camera are the plain zebra or common zebra. So it's very unusual to me that they don't have manes, because I mean, I don't know, I haven't spent too much time in areas with the Grevy zebra or the mountain zebra, but as far as I understand from pictures I've seen, they should all have manes. So it's quite unusual to see zebra that have completely naked necks and look like they have no manes. They look like horses that are about to go to a showing season and have been completely clipped. But again, I was thinking about it, and it could be the high insect population in Kenya that causes an irritation or some sort of myopic mange that can be transferred from one individual to another. Giraffe are also prone to a variety of mange or skin parasites that can be transmitted, just like impala, because impala practice allo-grooming, where they bond with each other by grooming one another. This is unfortunately a very good way for transferring bacteria from one individual to another. So you have to be so careful if you have these small private reserves. The minute you have an outbreak of this, any kind of mange, you need to try keep it under control. Sorry folks, I think we just lost our feed. So we have linked across to Camelthorn over in Botswana to find some more zebra. So we're just having a look at the zebra in Oldonyo and how they seem almost completely naked on their necks, no fur, like they don't have any manes or forelocks. Very unusual. So have a look here. I'm sure you can see these zebra have very healthy manes. Incredible to see so many zebras. So here in Botswana, as within Tanzania, there's a massive migration that is on at the moment with the zebra and wildebeest population. So you get these huge herds moving through these areas, migrating, looking for greener pastures as well as stable water supplies. So Exen Bear has sent to a comment. A bit of a rarity, an animal with longer front legs. So Exembe, yes, the giraffe are quite an unusual creature, I must say. But don't be fooled, those long legs of the giraffe are very, very dangerous. If lions are trying to take down a giraffe, and if they get kicked by one of those very sharp big hooves of a giraffe, they will definitely can cause instant death or very fatal injuries. So yeah, you do get lions that take down giraffe in Botswana, or even in the Sabi Sands apparently, Zambia. There are these lions in big prides that have learned to hunt giraffe, but they do have to be very, very careful, because one kick from a giraffe, just as with a zebra, those nasty kicks can cause fatal injuries to predators, and for a lion to have a nasty injury or a broken limb is not ideal, because they are not able to hunt. So Kez is asking, can all animals get mange? So Kez, yes, most animal species are prone to, can be susceptible to contracting some sort of mange, although you do have specific herbivores that might be more prone to picking up this mange. And as I mentioned, any species that practice any kind of allo grooming, so social grooming, so especially in large herds, that's when it can spread very quickly. But when you have solitary antelope or solitary creatures, they're less likely to pick up on any of these diseases, because there's less physical contact and less grooming between multiple individuals. So I guess it's like most diseases. If you have a smaller population that are isolated, those isolated populations would be less likely to pick up on any of these diseases. So in private reserves, that's what you really need to watch for, because it can occur that you get these outbreaks, so you need to control it before it affects too many individuals. Oh, these zebra are everywhere. Try to count them, but there's just too many to count. So we have a question here from Sabara12, is asking, what is the difference between mountain zebra and Burchell's zebra? So that is a great question. So both species do look very similar, especially at first glance. Ooh, I wonder if there's some elephants chasing our zebra. So at first glance, these two species do look very similar, although mountain zebra are found in Namibia and very restricted parts of South Africa, not necessarily Kenya. The mountain zebra have very narrow stripes that don't go all the way to the belly, so the mountain zebra's belly is mostly white. Mountain zebra also has a slight dewlap, so a slight loose fold of skin under the throat, which the zebra species don't necessarily have. Whereas our Burchell zebra don't have the dewlap. The Burchell zebra's stripes are much broader and fade into their shadow stripes. They do have a bit of black and white in between the stripes, and Burchell zebra are more widely spread across many different locations. So they'll occur in southern Africa, eastern Africa, as well as Kenya. So yeah, it's pretty much habitat and some slight differences in their stripes. Check at these zebra. Each and every single one of these zebra is unique. Isn't that incredible? Not one of these zebra have the same stripe formation. It's like us humans and our fingerprints. They're all different. So Danny is asking, are all of these zebra from the same herd? So no, Danny, these will be many different zebra herds all joining together. So generally the social structure of zebra, you have the solitary males, the stallions, and then you'll have one stallion with anything between 2 to 6 females. So this is a massive congregation of hundreds and thousands of zebra, just like in Tanzania and in Kenya. You have these incredible migrations of these herbivores moving across these open areas to find more grazing. There's a few wildebeest, but mostly at this particular location there's more zebra. Let's just listen to the sound of these zebra for a moment, shall we?
even a hyena coming into the action as well now. Oh my word. She's stalking the hyena now. Leopard, hyena, lion, all together in one shot. Oh. Whoa. This is action-packed.
Every month, something wild lands in your inbox. From rare sightings and behind-the-scenes secrets to expert stories, seasonal changes, and exclusive travel opportunities, the Wild Earth Journal is your free monthly mailer, packed with the magic of the wild straight from the field. It's fun, it's free, it's full of surprises. Sign up now on the Wild Earth website.
Of all the animals desperately coming down for a drink along their migratory route. So this is just a stopover. The zebra will still have to move. They have incredible distances that they need to cover every day in order to keep moving, finding water and enough food. Alrighty folks, why don't we head across to Meno Akwena, also in Botswana, for some elephants. Alrighty, so we've got some zebra over at Camelthorn, and here at Meno Akwena, also in the Bateti River, we've got the elephants that have come down. Looks like mostly bachelor bulls that have come down. This big bull on the left is enjoying a splish and a splash to cool himself down. So you can see this water. There is probably an outlet here, so there are some of these pans that are being pumped in order to give the animals access to water throughout the year. So I think where all these elephants are congregating, there's probably an outlet where the water is being pumped out for these animals. Elephants do much prefer to drink clean water, so they always go for the cleanest water source. So Exenbear is asking, are reptiles prone to diseases and parasites just like mammals? So Exenbear, yes, reptiles can definitely get diseases and parasites, through which some of them do show up in their systems and can affect them in a slower way. It does not necessarily always affect their immune system as quickly as in mammals, but some of the diseases reptiles can get are parasites. So they can get internal parasites and worms. They can also get bacterial or fungal infections. This affects their skin or scales, like in snakes. It can cause their actual scales to start rotting, or infectious wounds. or injuries. Like for snakes, for example, if they get attacked by a bird of prey but survive, they often might have an open wound or injury, which then can get a secondary infection. And you do also have viruses and respiratory issues, which can be a bit of a problem with crocodiles and reptiles. And crocodiles are so restricted to water, so if the water is contaminated in any way, it can very easily contaminate their bodies as well. So just like mammals, stress or poor conditions, living conditions, for example, the wrong temperature of water or bad diet, or overcrowding, which does happen a lot in confined areas where animals are kept in confinement. That's when parasites can grow quite quickly. But in natural environments, generally, nature has a great way of dealing with all these parasites. Wow, there are some very big elephant bulls here. I think the biggest one is probably on the far left. Another big bull on the right. You can hear some mayor's parrots. Listen to those parrots, a Cape turtle dove or ring-necked dove. Some of these trees at the edge of this bank. I mean, this is an ancient river line here. I mean, imagine a few hundred years ago when water used to course through this river line constantly. It must have been incredible. I mean, these elephants would have all been underwater hundreds of years ago. I mean, some of these banks on this Pateti River are extremely high. If you just imagine all the water that used to course through this river line, now it is mostly dry. Oh, we do have a breeding herd in here. Hello, there's a little one. Some of these trees on the edge of this riverbank, I just imagine, are perfect for leopard. I mean, it's quite a slopey riverbank there, and there's some nice shady leopard trees that I could imagine are perfect for a leopard to just rest up in the heat of the day, and as soon as the waterhole gets a bit quiet, there's not too many animals, would be a great time for a little sneaky leopard to come down for a drink. Or maybe in the middle of the night. So I think this would be a great camera to leave playing if you struggle to sleep. You want to see some leopards at night here at Meno Aquena or over at Camelthorn. I would definitely leave those two locations on to see what nocturnal activity comes down. Have a look at this young elephant bull. He's giving himself a scratch on this other bigger bull's bottom. Oh, we can hear another elephant fighting with one another. Big bulls. So Doxy Appointed is asking, how do elephants communicate? So Doxy Appointed, we were chatting about elephants and elephants' communication earlier, and how it would be really awesome if we could understand all the communication that's going on with these elephants, because they are constantly communicating. I know it sounds cannot hear all of their communication, but they do communicate through a lot of seismic signals as well as infrasonic communication that they actually get through their feet. So what we can hear from elephants is the trumpets, and trumpets can often signify excitement, to alert or alarm, or while playing with one another. We do often hear those very low bellowed rumbles, which is a very deep, low frequency call. It can often travel for quite a few kilometers. This is what we can hear, and of course those very shrilling, raw bellow sounds, which sound like dinosaurs on the night, very kind of frightening to hear. But elephants do also communicate quite a lot. So obviously there's the audible sounds we can hear as humans. Most of elephants' communication is not audible to the human ear. They communicate through infrasonic communication, but low bellowed rumbles like this we can hear. But they do communicate quite a lot through touch, so body language, touch, as well as chemical cues, so scent, urine, dung, or secretions. The temporal glands do carry quite a lot of information about stress, fertility, and even dominance in the big bulls.
let's go and take a look. See you out there.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
My full name is Mpho Muthusi Tikani. I grew up in Soweto. My first animal that I filmed said to dog. Okay, no, wait. My first animal that I filmed, I think it was an impala. Best sighting ever, I would say it was actually this year, 2024. But it was at this Cedric when we had Muluwati and TP on a warthog kill. I think we have to cut it.
Greatest wildlife spectacle on planet Earth. We'll see you there.
Dung and urine is in this pan. Oh, there's a little youngster suckling on the right hand side. Another big bull has also just pitched up at the pan. So we've got a comment from to Disco Dave. Disco Dave is greeting our Wild Earth team as well as all the chatters and singing a bit of an interesting song about hand pink waving. We need a device like a back detector that converts the sounds we can't hear to ones we can set up alongside the cameras. I'm not sure about your song, Disco Dave, but I do agree with you there on the sound detector. So interesting that you say that, because in Central African Republic, in Zangasanga Bay, I don't know if any of you have ever heard of this. This is a magical place for forest elephants to come and get water during the day, and sometimes you can get anything between 150 to 180 elephants, forest elephants, all coming into this meeting, greeting, communal place to drink and feed on the minerals. And there's a listening project there called the Elephant Listening Project, where they are doing exactly this, encrypting the elephant communication. Alright folks, well let's head across to one of our other locations and see what else is out there today. So we are over in Rosie's Pan, Olifants West Game Reserve, with some more elephants. Oh, and there's a bit of activity. Oh, it's a warthog. I thought it was a leopard. Just to the right hand side of the screen, little warthog ran across the screen, and shame we have a grey heron very patiently waiting for the elephants to be done with their pool party. And I guess he doesn't want to play very nicely with these elephants, this grey heron. And we do also have our hippo bull that is lying in the middle of the pan. I guess he's praying the elephants leave him in peace. So Deb D has sent her a comment saying we've witnessed elephants practicing dominance when confronting a safari vehicle. So yes, Deb D, I've been watching the live safaris quite a lot, and I was listening to Leon from yesterday afternoon's sunset safari, and how I really love Leon's approach to wildlife, and how Leon says that he prefers to stop further away from animals, and if they choose to approach him, then that's their choice to come closer. I think often people maybe unknowingly approach animals, or knowingly for the wrong reasons, might approach animals at a too close a distance, which in most cases can make them feel very uncomfortable and can trigger this dominance display. So yeah, I've been really enjoying watching the live safaris and listening to Leon and his approach on approaching wildlife. So if you'd like to get a bit more of an understanding, I would really recommend watching the sunset safari from yesterday afternoon. Leon does chat quite a lot about wildlife, ethics, or just approaching animals in general and keeping them comfortable. Just like these three elephant bulls are very comfortable having their midday cooling down session. I wonder if they're going to do anything to this hippo. This hippo doesn't seem perturbed at all. I don't think I would be a happy hippo if I had elephants swimming this close to me. Look how close they are to him. How crazy. Yep, and now the two elephant bulls are also playing with one another. And our hippo has not moved at all. Nature is really interesting. So we have a question from Recycled Teenager UK, is asking, do herbivores obtain protein in order to produce milk for their young? So Recycled Teenager, yes. So herbivores, as I mentioned earlier with the kudu, that in the dry season kudu will feed on seed pods, flowers, fruits, so this does help them. So herbivores may live on grass, although these alternate little things that they feed on, like the leaves and the fruit, it does still manage to turn that plant matter into their protein that is so highly needed in order to provide milk for their youngsters. So ruminants like antelope, buffalo and giraffe, they have a multi-chambered stomach which is full of these little microbes, and those microbes help to break down that plant cellulose and produce this amino acid as well as microproteins or microbial proteins, and that helps to absorb this required food for them. Just very fascinated with what is happening with this hippo. Look how close these two elephants are. There is a hippo there, and the hippo does not seem bothered at all. The elephants, I feel like one of these elephants is going to touch this hippo just now. If it was a young elephant, I feel like it would have been very curious to go touch this hippo. It's a perfect example of how different animal species in Africa live in harmony. Oh, here we go. See, this young elephant bull gave the hippo a splash. I think he was telling him to move out of the way. So, Eggs and Beer has another question. Eggs and Beer is asking, can an elephant's tusk puncture metal? Ooh, Eggs and Beer, yes. Oh, okay, let's just see what's happening. What is this elephant doing? Look, he keeps checking out this hippo, but this hippo is not moving. So Eggs and Beer, yes, elephants are extremely strong. I mean, elephants can push over trees, palm trees, that would take a crane pulling a tree down. So they have incredible force, elephants. And game viewers You must not be mistaken and think you are safe in a game view, and that's what I think the problem is. A lot of people have false sense of security sometimes. You still need to protect animals because elephants can very easily flip over a game viewer and fold it in half. I've seen one elephant. He was a domestic elephant that was not well. He had some issues, and he destroyed 2 Land Cruisers in less than 20 minutes. Their tusks can very easily go into the side of a Land Cruiser, and they almost open it up like a tin can. It's nothing for an elephant. These elephants are extremely powerful and strong. I mean, they use the front of their faces like that to push over those incredible wild date palms, lala palms. Got this massive pushing, crushing power. Always respect these animals out in the bush because it's amazing how strong they actually are. So Ella, yes, this is a very nice pool party. Kez says, is that hippo okay? Kez, I don't know. I think something is wrong with this hippo. I think he's either very lazy, having a very bad Monday. I don't know if he's like depressed and he just doesn't care what the elephants do to him, but have a look. He just poked his nose out of the water. He's not fazed at all that these elephants are swimming around him. He's just there. So Bill Judd is asking, do elephants kill other elephants? Yes, Bill Judd, elephant bulls when fighting can kill other elephant bulls. Very easy for a big male elephant. In fights, they do often kill one another, just like giraffe. Big male giraffe will sometimes fight to the dead. This is all to win the affection of the females and dominance displays. I'm very concerned about our little hippo friend here. I don't know. He seems to just be comfortable, but as I mentioned, if I was a hippo, I don't think I'd be too happy with these elephants being so close. Especially that one bull coming right up to the back of him and giving him a sniff, splashing him a little bit. So Sanjeev Roy, yes, this hippo could just know that he is a formidable beast and no one can mess with him. So Sanjeev Roy says, Mr. Hippo means business. Yes, Sanjeev Roy, I think this hippo is not willing to give his spot up for anybody. You do get a lot of this interspecies conflict, especially at limited water supplies. Shame, I saw a honey badger the other day that's in Zimbabwe, Wangi National Park. He got killed by an elephant, but this honey badger from nowhere at a pan started running towards this young elephant bull, and imagine a tiny little honey badger weighing probably less than 10-15 kilograms started attacking this young elephant that probably weighed about 2 to 3 tons. This honey badger just went for his feet and started biting this elephant's foot. The elephant started trumpeting and screaming, and I think the elephant squashed the honey badger and then ran off. He got such a fright. I don't know what was up with that honey badger that day. Wildlife is very fascinating, and the strangest thing happens, but I think that honey badger still survived even after being half squashed by an elephant. Formidable little creatures. Interactions and behaviors is just so fascinating, isn't it? So BBC is asking, are there fish in Rosie's pan? At BBC, I would probably most likely say no. It is a very small pan, and I wouldn't be surprised if it completely dries out within the year. But I mean, I've seen stranger things, and it's amazing how fish in an area that you might think there are no fish, they can still occur there. There might be some old eggs that are stuck in the mud that might have survived the dry season. Maybe, yeah, it's amazing. Catfish can also move from one water source to the other. So there could be a few little catfish, or we call them barbel, in this tiny little pan, but I wouldn't say there's too many fish. But we did have a grey heron that was very patiently waiting by. He could be looking for frogs though. Grey herons don't just solely feed on fish. So Catherine has sent through a comment about our hippo and elephant interaction. Apparently this hippo always does this, and they don't bother each other. Yeah, it's a very strange interaction with this hippo and our elephant earlier. The young bull actually splashed the hippo and came and looked like he was going to give him a bit of a nudge. But then he left him behind, and the hippo just carried on doing what this hippo's been doing. So Egzenbear has asked a question. I've heard hippos kill more people in Africa than elephants or crocodiles. So Egzenbear, yes, hippos have at some stage been considered to be upgraded to one of the big five or the big six. And they do kill a lot of people every year, a lot of human wildlife conflict. Hippos are prone to raiding fields or crop raiding, just like elephants. So yes, hippos are very, very dangerous creatures. Do not mess with a big male hippo or a female hippo with a little calf. So melanistic marble, yes, this hippo can come up for air now. Come on, little hippo, Mr. Hippo. He seems to be coming up every now and then. I know if you Google, most places online will tell you hippos can hold their breath for anything between 4 to 6 minutes, but I have personally recorded on a few occasions hippos being underwater for up to 8 minutes. So they do have incredible lungs. They can hold their breath underwater for a long period of time. And I mean, if you think about it, if you were walking in the bush here and you pitched up to this waterhole and you didn't know, I mean, this could just be a little sandbank or a little island or a branch. You'd never know that's a hippo. And hopefully you don't get on the wrong side of this hippo. Unless he puts his head up to breathe, you can barely tell there's a hippo lying there. Alrighty folks, why don't we head across to Tembe Elephant Park and see what's happening there this afternoon.
What does it take to handle the wild? Balance. Determination. Focus.
Yaku!
And gear that can take a beating so you don't have to.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
Some of you out there are brilliant at identifying hyenas.
Now, why do you think people have got this huge misunderstanding about reptiles?
Right in front of me there was the face of an astounded buffalo bull.
This is live and interactive, so everybody, if you have any questions and comments, please do send them through and let us know what you'd like.
As I said, honey badgers are such resilient little creatures. If you want one of Africa's most resilient totem animals, definitely pick a honey badger, because those creatures can survive. I think they have 100 lives, honey badgers. They can survive being bitten by snakes, stung by thousands of bees, and probably kicked and squashed by an elephant. But yeah, wild at heart, I'm not too sure if that honey badger did survive. I don't know anyone at that camp. It was the Amalinda collection, so some range of camps in Wangi National Park. I don't know anyone working there at the moment, so sorry. I'll try and ask around, find out what happened to that crazy little honey badger. Maybe he just had a bad weekend and woke up hating elephants. Poor little thing. Something. But again, rabies. Rabies can be another issue with honey badgers and jackals. They can contract rabies. So I know there has been a few cases of honey badgers and jackals in Wangi National Park that have had rabies. And again, this can be contracted from maybe contact with domestic dogs from neighboring villages or strays that have wandered into the park by some miracle. I don't know how that would happen, as Wangi National Park is massive and there's quite a few very big borders before you could get to the park. But if you have jackals that wander into villages, then that could be a way that they could contract rabies. So that could also be a possible scenario that could have happened there, because it was very strange behavior. It wasn't even like the elephant was in the honey badger's way. This honey badger just ran around the watering hole straight to this elephant and just proceeded to bite this giant elephant on the foot. How crazy. Enjoying watching these elephants drink, praying that some of them will come into the water and have a bit of a pool party. The Wild at Heart has also sent a comment about Hank the hippo at Nkoro. Apparently he has not returned to the pan for a few days now, maybe a bit too shallow for it. So, Wild at Heart, we were at Nkoro earlier today and there were some buffalo bulls and some elephants at Nkoro, but I did not see Hank the hippo. Maybe he has moved to deeper waters. These hippos are so sensitive, their skin is so sensitive to the sun. You need to make sure they don't stay in pans that are too shallow for too long, otherwise they will dehydrate themselves and have very nasty irritated skin. You need to make sure that they move before the water disappears around them. Ooh, folks, so why don't we head across to a new camera that we have in the Masai Mara? So this is a new location we have here, folks. This is Mahali, Missouri in the Masai Mara. And we have a giant male eland that is acting like a waterbuck. Quite strange to see an eland in thick vegetation like this. It's more, I'd say, more characteristic habitat for waterbuck or reedbuck. But this is a solitary male eland, so maybe he's decided that this is a lovely place for him to come and feed on some of this nice lush green grass. It does look very nice and green over the Masai Mara, and talking about the Masai Mara, it is amazing to have another location. So to have the Mara back on our live safaris, I've been watching David and James and all the predator activity they've been getting. Lots of lions, lots of elephants, and always great to see some hippos over in the Masai Mara in the Mara River. So how incredible to have this location back on the live drives with us. This is a solitary male eland. So you'll have solitary bulls, and then you could also have obviously a group of bachelor bulls and then breeding herds where there'll be one male accompanied by anything between about 10 to 20 females, although I have seen a breeding herd of eland up to 30, so they can be in larger numbers. So we have a question, interesting question here from Anita, and Anita is asking, would an elephant contract rabies? So Anita, it's extremely unlikely that an elephant would contract rabies. So rabies is primarily spread through bites from infected mammals. So again, yes, that tiny little honey badger did persistently bite this elephant on the foot, but I doubt, elephants have such thick skin, especially on their feet, so I doubt that this honey badger would have been able to bite deep enough into the elephant's skin to cause any kind of infection. So there are virtually no confirmed cases of elephants that have had rabies in the wild. In captivity, the risks would be slightly higher if they were bitten by an infected animal. So in general, it's highly unlikely that an elephant would contract rabies. As I mentioned, the more prime suspects for rabies are your smaller carnivores like obviously, as we mentioned, the honey badger, your jackal species, those smaller predatory species. I know there's been a few rare cases of wild dogs with rabies, but again, very rare. It's more common in jackals and honey badgers. So Ella says she loves the Masai Mara, always something happening there. So yes, Ella, it's really lovely to be able to watch the Masai Mara, although I think shade is a bit of a problem here. You can see Masai Mara, they have these very rich open grassland areas, but not too many big trees. I know some of their open plains are dotted with acacia trees, very typical African symbol of Africa. Those are very umbrella thorn acacias, but it does look very hot out there. I'm sure this eland will be heading to some nice shady spots in a while. I don't know how long he could feed out in the open like this. Also, males, if they are solitary like this male eland, it does make them more susceptible to predators like lions. Obviously, the lion population in the Masai Mara is very healthy, and a male eland would make quite a good snack for a small pride of lions. So Wild at Heart also says, oh, nice Masai Mara. Yes, Wild at Heart, I'm completely overwhelmed with the amount of grass that they still have in the Masai Mara. It really indicates and shows you that it is such a happy ecosystem. Lots of animals moving through these areas. Soil is being aerated, all that manure compost is going into the soil, nutrient rich, lots of nutrients being reintroduced into the ecosystem after the migration season, ready for the calving season in December, January.
For years, we've shared virtual wildlife. Now let's experience it for real. I'm Lauren Arthur, and I'd love to show you my amazing home here in the Greater Kruger of South Africa. This 5-night journey is an exclusive connection to my piece of untamed Africa. I live here in these gorgeous landscapes surrounded by epic wildlife. The wild is calling, so come and join me.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
My full name is Tikani. Best part of my job is coming to see nature. Worst part of my job is logging. That's the worst thing ever, because you have to log amount of footage. You sit in front of that computer and yeah, you think of deleting the footage, but no, they need the footage. If I want a camel, probably a soccer player. I know some people don't believe me, but I'm very good, I'm very fast.
And that's it for this morning's drive.
She's just got her impala, everybody.
And we're going to be heading out and seeing what animals we can find.
Can you hear that? The wild is calling.
What on earth is happening here? So we've got some little piglets, or not so little anymore. These warthogs are probably almost a year old, born last year, December, January, and they are at the watering hole. And I think they didn't get the memo that they're only supposed to line their holes with grass in the winter months. Or maybe this is the grass they've actually taken out of their holes because summer's here and now they don't want to have that extra winter lining. So I didn't know that about warthogs, that in the winter months they actually line their dens, their burrows, with grass to help insulate them, keep them warm. This is rather cute, isn't it? Look at these warthogs. They are such comical creatures. Maybe they're going to a fancy dress party later and they decided to cover themselves in mud first and then coat themselves in grass. Not quite sure what look they're going for here. Rather unusual behavior. I feel like the female warthog must be somewhere close by. I'm not too sure where. Very, very tight little family bond that they have here amongst little warthog piglets. One on the right just wants to nap, and this individual on the left is busy with something. So we've got a question from Deb D, is asking with the eland male over in the Masai Mara we were watching. Deb D is asking, is it difficult to gauge his size? So Deb D, that was probably quite a mature adult male eland. Again, the record weight for a male eland is almost just over 900 kilograms. So I'd put that male at about 850 kilograms. Quite a big, impressive male eland. I would say he is fully grown. You can see he's very muscular. Oh, look at these little guys. Dev D, yes, warthogs can amuse you for hours. They are such inquisitive little creatures. Very playful. So I do know a warthog that was rescued. They do get on very well with dogs, warthogs. This little warthog was rescued. I think his parents, they found him in a burrow and the parents had been poached. And he was rescued and rehabilitated. He was introduced back into the wild after about 6 or 8 months, but he had imprinted on the family dog, and this little warthog and the Labrador were best friends for about 6 months before he was released back into the wild. They make quite cute pets, although they do dig up your garden, so I would not recommend. As I mentioned earlier, it's always best for these wild animals to stay in the wild. But yeah, sometimes these rehab centers are very, very useful when it comes to rehabbing injured creatures and releasing them back into the wild. So have a look. Their crests are piloerecting. So same as in Nyala, they experience what's called piloerection, where their fur fluff on the back of their necks stands up to make them look bigger, more formidable, and larger than their opponent. It's just like baboons. Warthogs and baboons are probably some of the most entertaining creatures to watch while on safari. Always a bit of a lifesaver if you're a guide and you're driving around and it's the middle of the day, like right now. Sometimes the birding is not so great, and you know, the cat's all sleeping in a shady spot or a tree somewhere, can't find any big game. It's always pretty rewarding if you find some warthogs at a watering hole, or baboons just on an acacia tree or on some dead trees down by the water. Always those little golden moments that kind of fill up your game drive. It's definitely when something else entertaining happens. Oh, look at these warthogs. I'm really hoping that their mother is close by, because if there's a predator at this pan, this makes for quite an easy kill. Because these warthogs are not alert or aware of what's happening around them at all. So it'll be very easy for a lion or a leopard to sneak up on these warthogs. So it's very rare that you get 4 warthog piglets in one litter surviving. So a female warthog can have anything between 4 to 6 little baby piglets, but they do get picked off by the predators. So often you might only get 1 or 2 surviving. So the success rate of warthogs piglets surviving a year is quite low. It's generally between 10 to 15% of their youngsters will actually survive for their first year. I mean, even large birds of prey will go for little baby warthogs, those crowned eagles. Oh. Hyenas, jackals, they all would appreciate a little warthog snack. You can see all the elephant dung from the elephants coming down to this waterhole as well. Perfect mud bathing spot for these warthogs. The warthogs, buffalo and elephant, do enjoy the dry season because they really get to release their inner child and have a good mud bath. You better be careful, little guy. Watch out, there's no predators around. So, got a few last comments. Penelope Kenyon, thank you for watching. Wild at Heart, thank you for those questions and comments. Deb D is also saying thank you to everyone for a lovely show. And yeah, I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their week. What a lovely way to end the show with some very playful little warthogs. I won't be with you live at the waterhole for a couple of days, but I hope that you all enjoy the rest of the weeks live at the waterhole. Don't forget to join in on the safaris tomorrow, sunrise and sunset safaris, to see what unfolds at our locations. Trying not to laugh at this little baby warthog. But anyways, folks, have a fabulous Monday from me and the rest of the Wild Earth team. I hope you have a lovely day.